This is true stories on victims who have lost their homes. Spousal rights were RAWs. That means as a spouse you lost the matrimonial home. And title theft and mortgage fraud due to secret filing is legal in Canada, and almost every province but Saskatchewan has protection. And every other province you're in jeopardy. Thousands every year. And why? As a direct result of secret filing. And yet the media in Canada has never exposed the real truth that behind the thousands of fraud and homes being robbed every year, it's a direct result of secret filing, a criminal law that's banned in every other country but Canada. Now, this picture is a home that I sold to rescue my mother from abject poverty. I didn't know, and that story is on a website, and I've sent it out to every member of Parliament coast to coast, federal and provincial, and I can't find one to care. But in the law, it's possible for a criminal to steal your home and steal your property and put a mortgage illegally in your home, and you don't even have the right to be notified. Statistics have proven that Canada has the highest level of mortgage fraud and real estate theft, and yet not one member of Parliament is putting forward a bill to ban secret filing and to give and our Prime Minister Trudeau doesn't care. I've sent to his staff many times. I've sent to attorney generals. I've sent to everybody you can think of, and I've sent to every media, and yet nothing is being done. And I'm only one person. So I'm putting out these stories for historical purposes, because right now there's nothing in the media. But secret filing is banned in United States and England and Europe for over almost 100 years. My website is www.rights4realestate.com. Millions of homes and properties in Ontario and all across Canada. In other words, every home is in jeopardy of being a victim, and you don't even know it. You have more chance of becoming a victim of mortgage fraud than house fire. And yet most victims have no title insurance protection for mortgage fraud. And they don't even know about it. Real estate agents, lawyers, brokers, they don't know about it. And your regular insurance company for a house fire, they're not allowed to do it. You have to get it only through a lawyer. And yet a lawyer doesn't tell you that when you buy a home. But you can get it, even if you've had a home for 40 and 50 years, you can get it. And that's on my website. But no one has yet done a thing to stop secret filing, which is the cause of all this fraud and seniors losing their homes legally in Ontario and Canada. The most vulnerable victims are seniors, women, and young people who are not as well educated and are extremely vulnerable, and they don't realize what the law is. But the truth is that I'm not even sure if that's an accurate statement, because you could be of any age and become a victim. Because the fact is that there can be any change on title to your property without you even having the right to be notified. That's illegal in Saskatchewan, but in every other province, you can have a change on title, and you have no law demanding that any change on title that you get a written notification before the change has taken place, so that you have at least an opportunity to fight it. Thousands are victims every year in Canada, and you'll never even hear them because the media's silence on the subject is absolutely deafening, and our corrupt court system keeps the victims from being heard. Only in Canada can anyone put a mortgage on your home without your knowledge, file it in title in secret. Yes, in secret. And you're liable even though it's fraud. And the police won't even investigate, because in most cases it was done legally through a lawyer. So they say that you have to go to civil court, which means you got to spend $50,000 to $100,000 in court to try and get your property back. Well, guess what? You're not going to get it back. I've been fighting for 4 years, and the property's gone, and the money's squandered and long gone, and the criminals are long gone, and you don't stand a hope in hell. And the suffering can't even Never mind the financial and devastation and ruin to the victims, but the emotional and mental and physical strain and stress and suffering that they go through. And the other thing that people don't even consider, our politicians and our media is not even considering, do you not realize that when people like me and my mother, who are worth over $1 million, wind up in abject poverty, that we wind up in subsidized housing, they wind up in subsidized housing, it costs the taxpayers, it costs the insurance. And yet nobody cares. But only in Canada is it legal. So you know, people, you get the government you deserve. When you vote, if you're voting for somebody who doesn't care about these laws, well, then you're voting for a lawless country, and that's what we are. We are completely corrupt. Because it is banned in every other country, and this is only made in Canada. That's right, made in Canada. It's so unfair. Now I'm going to talk about on April 2018, it was reported that a couple from India, and I have that on my website, and her husband lost their Brampton home to mortgage fraud and title theft. Now, Samantha Brooks, oh, that woman, I could just scream every time I think of her. She's a CEO with Mortgages of Canada, and she claimed this is common in Canada and that it's easy for anyone to get title insurance. Well, she's full of baloney, because I went through hell months and months with my new lawyer, Mr. Longstreet, and I couldn't get any company to give me any information, and it cost me $800 to get that information, and I put that on my website, and I put that out to people. But almost every home in Canada does not have title insurance. Would you even consider not having fire insurance? Well, guess what? It'll cost you about $500. If you have a home worth $500,000, it only costs you $1,000, and it'll protect you for the life of your ownership of the property. But it won't protect you from the other forms of theft. Okay, there's many other ways, because of secret filing, that your property can be stolen. My mother and I were a victim of fraud, but it was not mortgage fraud. It was because we did not know that we didn't have the right to know about the fact that my father had severed the joint tenancy. So here we were renovating properties that we didn't even own. Now, CTV News Online recently charged 4 men in a sophisticated $17 million mortgage fraud investigation that began in 2013. It was called the Project Bridle Path, which is a multi-million-dollar mansion district of Toronto, Ontario. The CTV article did not say if the victims lost their homes too. I don't think so, because of their wealth, I'm sure their insurance would cover it. Only the poor get the kind of Canadian injustice that my mother and I and thousands of others get. What they did not discuss was this was a direct result that secret filing is legal and is banned in every other country. And they went on to say that title insurance would have protected them. Well, yeah, that's true. But how can you get title insurance if your lawyer... I asked my lawyer, I said, how often do you do title insurance? He said, most of my clients haven't asked about it. I said, how can they ask about something that they don't even know exists? So you see, that's the situation. Catch-22. You don't know it exists, so you don't get it, and your lawyer doesn't tell you about it. And your real estate agents don't even know about it. And your brokers don't know about it. There are hundreds of thousands of other cases that you'll never hear about, and it's been going on for hundreds of years. Mortgage fraud is only one way that secret filing allows for property theft, fraud, and estate embezzlement. There are many other ways you'll never hear about, such as my mother and myself, and now a few victims of their stories shared with me. I had to keep their names anonymous because for personal reasons, they don't want their stories told. They're embarrassed, typical victim behavior. But banning secret filing and getting Canadian laws into the 20th century with democratic rules of law before any name or changes on title are allowed to be registered or put on title on real estate property. All registered owners should first be notified in writing and consent obtained in writing. That's Saskatchewan law. And no severance of joint tenancy on the matrimonial home is allowed in Saskatchewan without consent, unless it's a divorce or separation, in which case you go to court. You go to court in a divorce anyway. How would you like to have a divorce made in secret and you don't even know that you're divorced? Well, that's substantially the injustice of the law of secret filing in Canada. Anyway, only Saskatchewan law will protect you. It's called the Homestead Act of 1989, and a copy of that is on my website. Now, Canadian properties are a very bad investment because no matter how hard you work or how long you own your home and properties, there is absolutely no protection for your property rights, spousal rights, in any province in Canada except for Saskatchewan. Secret filing is a law designed by the Romans 2,000 years ago by a dictator who was a thief for the sole purpose of stealing your properties, committing fraud, and estate embezzlement. And yes, estate embezzlement is what we were the victim of. And that was all done in secret. And the law allowed it, and that's why the police won't file a charge. Whereas in Saskatchewan, because it is illegal and secret filing is banned, the police would have had to charge my brother for stealing our properties and the fraud that he committed. But no, I have to go to civil court. So $100,000 later, $300,000 lost. Now I'm homeless. Yeah, that's only one person. I'm not the only one who is made homeless by this garbage. This is not a democracy, people. Secret filing is designed by criminals for criminals. Okay? And it has to be banned. Why do your members of parliament think it's okay? I don't know. Why is media not publishing the truth? I've sent it to Marketplace. I've sent it to CBC, CTV, you name it. I've sent it to everybody. Not one cares. So you, the people, you get the government you deserve because you're all sitting back with, I can't break the wall of indifference. God knows I've tried. Because our government system is not a true democracy. It is so corrupt, making so much money at your expense. Despite my real estate careers, 23 years working in advertising, marketing, corporation investments. I'm going to show you just a little, I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Yeah, okay. I was very well off. I didn't need to wind up in abject poverty. Oh, I can't find it. Well, it doesn't matter. It's on my website, phooey. But in 1981, I made national leaders, and I was in real estate, and I was very well off, and I lost everything because of the system in Canada. You can lose